Hello and welcome to the Box Office Buddies podcast. I'm Dan. I'm joined by Jonathan
Yo,
and Faceless.
Howdy, howdy do. I have been following the box office since I was 11 years old. I remember just like looking at specific runs, and I was getting so fascinated with it. And I don't think there's been a day I haven't looked at it, even during COVID times, where it was like really dire. But it's always been something that's interested me, and then I became, joining the server with people that are, similar minded. And it's really cool to see like the more specific stuffs, and it opened my mind to like a new like way of thinking about it, that there's like so much that goes into it, and like tracking is not just like, throwing stuff at the wall. It's actually like really interesting what they do.
Lovely. Well, we have a pretty good top 10 this weekend, I'd say. Let's get into it. At number 10 this weekend, we have a Hindi language comedy horror called Bhooth Bangla, which made $977,000 in 500 cinemas, which means it had a PTA of 1,900. This is on a budget of about $13 million, which is 120 crore. Worldwide, it's at about 10.3 million, about 96 crore. But yeah, this is another Indian film that makes the top 10.
seems to be a growing market domestically. I see these playing like almost every week in my theater.
Yeah, me too.
So it's very clear there's an audience. I want to say like almost every week we've done this podcast, we've seen at least one Indian film crop up in the top 10.
It's no Durandar, but it is a success, which is these Indian films that come in, they seem to bring in like a decent amount of money like most of the time.
At number 9, we have Busboys at $1.65 million. That is in 800 theaters with a over 2,000 per theater average. So, what is Busboys, you may ask? Okay, so this is a new comedy starring acclaimed actors David Spade and Theo Vaughn, directed by Jonah Feingold, who is responsible for such classics as Xmas on Prime Video, At Midnight, Dating in New York, whatever these are. I This was independently released. It had a $3 million budget. All things considered, that's a decent response for a fake movie.
It's no Iron Lung.
It's absolutely no Iron Lung, but it's
They released a movie.
they threatened a movie out and exists. I watched the trailer for this out of curiosity because so Faceless and I were talking about this the other day. It's not playing anywhere near you.
No, no, like I checked like yeah, it's like an 18 screen theater, not even close. 16 screen. Nope. 14 screen. Nope. But by you it's like showing.
Every single theater near me is playing. I mean, I was like, who the hell is seeing this? Depending on what side of the country you're on, it's just apparently not even playing.
Like, I'd never heard of this movie before the box office results came out, to be honest. And I can tell you it definitely wasn't playing in my country.
Number 8, BTS World Tour Ararang. I'm probably butchering that name. I'm sorry if I am. In Japan, live viewing. 1.8 million, about 1,200 theaters, 1,500 per screen, and it was a Saturday only thing. This was a little different from the one. What was it like last week? Yeah, because the last week one was that in like.
It was in Goyang in South Korea, I'm pretty sure.
It's basically kind of the same thing. It's like a slightly different show. Yeah, pretty much. Like if you missed it,
It's a different performance.
Last weekend it made 2.44 million, so I mean, that's like 4.24 million for both. There's not really much else to say about it. It's BTS. I'll go into number 7, which is Normal, with 2.55 million. It's just in just over 2,000 cinemas, just under 1,300 per theater. This is a Magnolia Pictures distributed movie, and their last big wide release was actually June Squibb's Thelma, which released in June 2024. It's just under 1,300 cinemas, and that did 2.3 million, I think, for its opening weekend. That ended up at like 9 million overall. I'm not sure this is going to get to 9 million, to be honest. It seems like a movie that's going to come and go. At least the budget wasn't massive. It was just under 20 million, which I'm not sure they're going to make it back, but, at least they're not losing too much money.
I don't think they are. I can't imagine they bought it for too much either. It's kind of weird. I would think that, like, I guess these movies aren't really doing very well, movies like this, because I mean, we'll look at Bob Odenkirk's Nobody 2. It didn't do amazing. Like, I mean, it was decent enough, I guess, but like, still just really wasn't setting the box office on fire. And I think at first glance, and we'll get into this a little more later on, but at first glance, I feel like a lot of people would just think it's the same thing, and I don't really blame them. I mean, like, even the title, like Nobody and Normal, I feel like it's reasonable to expect that maybe it's just the same exact movie. But like I said, we'll get into it. It's not. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like in between. Like, I wasn't really expecting this to do much, but like I don't think it's like a bad turnout either, especially for like Magnolia Pictures. It's just with a distributor like that, I mean, it's not going to really do much, respectfully.
It seems like this is like one of their highs, at least. I'm not sure. So I didn't do a deep dive into their like history. I only really know about Thelma. Looking at like what they've released in the 2020s.
One of it also is probably worth noting that like this movie did not get like you saw the Nobody movies had like paid like TV like marketing, and you could see trailers for those like all the time. And whereas like this one, because it was Magnolia, you didn't get that. So there's I think maybe 2,000 theaters seemed a little irresponsible for the type of distributor that it is, but like all things.
I think they were really hoping on like just Bob Odenkirk's star power to bring it. Which, I mean, like I said, I just don't think movies like this do well anymore. These just like dad core action movies.
Very weirdly, I saw Bob Odenkirk on Brittany Broski's Royal Court, which seems like a different audience to what they'd be going for.
At number 6, we have Hoppers at 3.05 million. That's a 27% drop. That brings the domestic total to over 161 million. The international is over 206 million, bringing us worldwide to a total of $367.8 million. So it's very close to passing A Bug's Life domestically. Once again, $150 million budget. It's doing well.
I'm pretty sure the movie that it's gonna pass, A Bug's Life, that is number 20 in terms of Pixar domestically. So
this will finally crack the 20.
yeah, and then it would have another 30 million to pass the next one to become 19, which probably isn't happening. I think its last big milestone is probably going to be passing Cars 3 worldwide, because that was 383.9.
It's very good, and obviously, some people were definitely getting a little too ahead of themselves with some of those predictions after like the first 2 weekends. But like this is still a very good result, and it puts Pixar in the right direction. I really don't know what there is to say that hasn't already been said in the past like 6 weeks. So
yes, this one has been in every single episode. I think one of 2 movies on this list that we've talked about every single episode so far.
100% number 5, which is Yumi in Tuscany, 3.9 million, 50% drop. from last weekend, amassing a total of 14.47 million domestic, just a small little 2.28 million internationally, for a total of 16.75 million worldwide. I think with this one, I remember some early tracking like had this like pretty high, and then it just kind of came out. I'm like, oh, this is probably not good. This came out to like even less fanfare than that. All in all, it's just kind of like very similar to the director's last movie, which was Marry Me, which is pretty much kind of doing just that again.
Yeah, it's definitely disappointing. I mean, it's got a ways to go from profitability.
It cost only 18 million, so like
Yeah, so it's not a big loss. It's just like I don't know. I want movies like this to do better because we just don't really get them as much anymore.
because I thought about this, it might just come down to the fact that like the two lead actors, you look at a movie like say Anyone But You, and like look at the marketing around that movie, got a lot of buzz and got a lot of attention. Plus that, I mean, also that movie released Christmas, so that was, holiday legs. But this one, I just kind of didn't hear anyone talking about it. They just really it was a really safe marketing approach, which I think just kind of ended up backfiring a little bit. Like the drama had more marketing. I kept hearing stuff about, oh, Robert Pattinson, Zendaya, they said this. So she said this about Tom Holland, and people were talking about that. Whereas like this one was just like, it's just nothing really there. This movie is like weirdly similar to Solo Mio, which came out just 2 months ago. Because they're both like they're both going to Italy, and they're they like spend like extensive time like in that like countryside. And I think it was weird because also that movie even opening on Super Bowl weekend, I think that opened like the same amount as this did. So yeah, it's just kind of unfortunate.
At number 4, we have the evil version of Yumi and Tuscany, the drama, which did 4.84 million over the weekend, down 44%. Another really good drop for this. 39.66 million domestic, 50.1 million international, for an 89.76 million worldwide haul. This is still ahead of Challengers, which was at 37.77 million at the same point of its release. And obviously that ended up just under 100 million, so this is going to pass that probably within the next week.
This is going to be one of A24's highest grossers easily. Yeah, I think A24's a bit of a good streak going on right now. Let's hope they keep it up.
Yeah, and I think this is basically the whole point of their business model as well. Release these niche, I mean, they're like the opposite of crowd pleasing films a lot of the time. Release them for like very small budget.
Maybe a filmmaker I trust a little less. Okay, so that's harsh. That's harsh. He did a good job. He did a good job with it. Okay, it's the script. Um, but we'll get into that later. Okay, number 3. It ain't your normal mummy. All right, this is Lee Cronin's The Mummy. This debuted to $13.52 million domestically, 20.9 million international. That brings us to a worldwide total of 34.42 million. This is significantly over Wolfman from last year's around $11 million opening domestically, but it is significantly under 2020's Invisible Man, which opened to 28 million domestically, has a $22 million budget. This, I mean, feel free to speak your piece. This looks like a pretty good result to me. Um, like a lot better than I was expecting, honestly. Very impressive. I mean, like it's not going to have the best legs, but I think this will be a healthy profit.
I don't see how it isn't, honestly, because it's already like it's already made its budget and a half. So like in a weekend, and it's probably gotta make like I guess like 55, 60, which it certainly will, because I don't see how it doesn't at least double its worldwide opening. To be despite its like so reception from pretty much critics and audiences, like let's just say it's a much needed win for Warner Brothers after you know, some of the past couple things they've come out with, like The Bride.
It's a moderate win for Warner Brothers, but it's a continuation of Blumhouse's like 10 to 15 million opening streak, excluding Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which like was gonna open above that if it was released by like any other studio.
I remember last year it was looking really, really dire for Blumhouse until like Black Phone 2, which thankfully, I mean, just for the sake of Blumhouse, thankfully since then they've been doing a lot better. Yeah, this is a good result. I went super pessimistic on my after I saw the movie. I was thinking it was just not going to get good audience reception. And honestly, it's not amazing audience reception, but it's decent.
Yeah, this isn't gonna have any like this isn't gonna have any word of mouth that's gonna like kill it. It's gonna run like a normal horror movie, and then of course the international is like great. So it's gonna end up being perfectly fine in the green. And that number two in question is Project Hail Mary with 20.52 million, an astonishing 15% drop from last weekend. Its fifth week has amassed over 285.15 million domestic, 288 million internationally, for a grand total of 573.15 million worldwide. And I just have to say here, like, first, like, I know obviously, like, wow, amazing run, crazy. But I really can't sell how, like, how I was expecting this to do like Fall Guy numbers. I was not expecting like anything out of this just because like sci-fi is so wishy-washy anymore. How with its like performance aside from like Dune because it's Dune. But I keep getting surprised, and I remember that oh yeah it's a good opening. We have blazed past what I thought it was going to end with now. Like at this we are on track because I remember people were talking about this. I don't see how this does not beat Oppenheimer because it's beating Oppenheimer domestic. Like that's just gonna happen.
But on Charles with Dan, he had like the comparison between Dune 2, which it's past now, by the way, which is insane, and Oppenheimer, and it's basically on par with Oppenheimer. Like on the very last day, it's been under it for like quite a while. But yeah, it's like right on par now.
I know, obviously. So at my theater, this actually did not get the IMAX this weekend. I don't, and we saw this. We saw this back when Mario came out. Even next weekend, it's not going to have a huge bearing because this is doing just fine based on a like pure word of mouth, and this is really catching on. And I think what's really most surprising, I think about this, and more on this in a little bit. This is going to end up when all is said and done, domestically, this is going to end a lot closer to Mario than than we would have ever thought it was gonna.
Like the release was just perfect in just about every way. It had a lot of time to itself. It happened around the time that, like we were talking about this the other week, it happened around the time the Artemis launch happened. They referenced it in space, and it's been dropping like even better ever since then because like people have a lot of interest in space travel right now. And then like people are picking up the book, so it wasn't like a whole like fan driven thing. It's just that this film is sweeping the nation, man. It just looks like the entire world. I mean, like it's just this is a phenomenon. Like we don't see this often. But I'm very happy it happened for this movie. I was really begging for this movie to do well. Like I was worried this was going to be a massive bomb.
But yeah, so that was number 2, and number 1 this weekend is the Super Mario Galaxy movie with 36.5 million, which is down 46% from last weekend. It's at 356.74 million domestic, 393.99 million international, for 750.73 million worldwide. There was a bit of a panic going on, I think, with this movie in the beginning of the weekend, because it dropped like 58% on Friday out of nowhere. But it seemed to have recovered throughout the weekend. I'm not sure what happened on Friday for that to, because I feel like all of the movies in the top 10 kind of recovered a bit as well. It wasn't just Mario.
I maybe have a theory because I live in the Midwest. There was like a really bad like tornado outbreak on Friday. So like I'm talking it was like really bad like in the Chicago area there were storms and like it like just basically the Midwest was a really rough disaster. Now I know there's been times where that really hasn't been a factor, so I'm just trying to rationalize it because I know like Mario, I mean, jumping like over 100% on a Saturday for a kids movie is like really normal. That's not out of like the ordinary at all, but like it jumped like a lot more than like usual for at least from like my recollection because like normally I expect like 14 million ish for Saturday, but then it like did like 16 something. So, and plus, like you said, there were other movies, and then like Sunday had some like really good holds too. So like I don't really know what. So I guess I'm just gonna chalk it up to like, oh, maybe some people were just weary of the storms because some of them were really bad out in the Midwest. Maybe I don't know.
Another thing is, here's another thing that might have had a role. Um, Spring break's kind of winding down a bit as well. So, like the last few weeks, probably a lot more like families were out for spring break. And then this past week, maybe not as many. I still personally feel inclined to believe this just barely chugs past a billion, personally. I think it's in doubt, but I'm still leaning towards it makes a billion.
It has a couple markets left. It's at 750 already, and it made like 125 million in the past. And it's gonna end up making like 9 times its budget, so I'm pretty sure they don't care.
I know one of the big questions, especially now that I'm seeing from people, is this gonna beat Minecraft domestically? Because now that's like it's not looking like a. I don't think so. I think it's kind of weird to think that this is like because this seemed to be like poised to do like 500 million some time ago. I think some people are right. I think it kind of there might be a reception thing here going on. Like, yeah, this is more alienating to like the general. It's like whereas like the first movie you could just be like, ah, you know, Mario, whatever. You know, everyone likes Mario, but if it's like you're really not a Mario fan, you're not gonna care about this because it's more of the same, and I think maybe that just kind of turned off some people, and I think yeah, I'm not trying to like get like biases, you know, be like, oh, I didn't like this movie, so like you know, it has to be that has to be the reason it's not doing as well as not nearly as well as the first. I think it's just more people it's more of the same, and if that kinda if you were that was just like a one and done thing, then good. You know, people were just like, "Okay, I'm good with that," and maybe just went to go see Project Hail Mary instead, but still a big success, and I'm glad to see it do. I'm glad to see something give theaters, you know, money. Not I'm not happy that this is the movie to do it, but you know.
That is the top 10. That's so. Moving on to our reviews.
Okay, so this week I chose normal. We talked about it earlier. It was our number 7. this weekend. Normal, directed by Ben Wheatley, starring Bob Odenkirk. Now, some of y'all might know Ben Wheatley from. He has a very weird filmography. Let's be honest; it's very strange. When you go on Letterboxd, his most popular film is Meg 2: The Trench. He did that one, but you may also know him for another film from 2017 called Free Fire. This is like a little bottle action movie with a pretty stacked cast. You know, like Cillian Murphy, Brie Larson, Charlton Copley, Army Hammer. Um, but Jack Rayner from Lee Cronin's The Mummy, he's also in that. Uh, yeah, so I really like that movie. I was very much looking forward to Normal because I like that movie, and I also like the Nobody movies quite a bit, both of them. Let's just say I preferred this over both of the Nobody movies. I absolutely love the premise here. It's got such a good setup. Okay, so Bob Odenkirk's essentially an interim sheriff filling in for one that just died recently. So yeah, the sheriff died recently, so he's filling in for the role in Normal, Minnesota. And he's like, okay, this is, quaint little small town. All right. He's driving around the city, just checking in on the day to day. He just sees these things in the town. He's like, okay, 16 million raised. It's a little odd. This town doesn't look like it has $16 million. And then he asks about it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, the community came together for that one. They really pulled through." Oh, there's locks in just like a department store on something that doesn't need 5 locks on it. What's going on there? Why does this lady have a police scanner? So the first half of the movie is just kind of going through that. He's walking through the town. He just sees these really suspicious things. He's like, "What? What the hell is going on here?" I mean, the people are normal enough, but there's something very fishy. Well, let's just say I'm not going to get into specifics, but there is a incident that occurs in the town. So he's essentially just doing his job, trying to de-escalate the situation. When he tries to de-escalate it, he finally figures out what's going on. And from that point on, this movie is just nuts. It is just nonstop, like, action at every corner of this man trying to fight through this just insane town. It is awesome every second. It's like one of the best paced movies of the year by far. It does not waste a second. Just like every scene, it's very economical with its time. It's only 90 minutes, so it kind of has to be, but that's some films have a hard time doing that with limited run times. So, but Bob Odenkirk's character is, I think, what really ultimately makes me prefer it a little bit over the Nobody films. I just think his character's like way more investing in this film. But yeah, I'm not gonna say too much more. It's exactly what I wanted it to be, just like a fun schlocky action movie in this small town. It and I mean, if you're just wanting to see like Bob Odenkirk like shoot a gun and like cause explosions, it's pretty satisfying. So I would give it an 8 out of 10. Pretty firm 8 out of 10. So
I will go next because we mentioned Jack Rayner. Let's go into a film that he's okay in. He's definitely acting.
he is acting.
So yeah, my movie was Lee Cronin's The Mummy, which we all really enjoyed. Evil Dead Rise. Like,
Yeah, Jonathan hasn't seen it, but it's a great movie.
he does a very good job at directing that movie. He also wrote that movie, which he did a good job with that as well. I think Alyssa Sutherland in that movie is really good. She's probably like one of the best possession type performances I've seen. So yeah, he wrote the Lee Cronin's The Mummy as well. I wish he didn't. I wish he didn't write it because the dialogue is very clunky. Taylor Swift is an angel, like an actual line.
Believe that's in the same film where you see like this mummy girl like deglove herself. Like, bro.
They're like same scene, like where she's like Taylor Swift is an angel, and like a minute later, like these, and I don't want to like hijack it, but we all saw it. I think we had some stuff to say about it, where it'll just be like, oh my god, she's she's alive. I mean that's in the trailer, so that's not a spoiler, but like it's. Did anyone else like pick up on like some tonal problems with this too?
The script is very clunky. We can all agree on that. But I think we can also all agree on Taylor Swift being an angel, so that's okay.
Yeah.
But also, so we're moving on from that. So I think the direction is fine. Like,
I love the shots. Like, there's some really good cinematography.
the cinematographer here is the same one from Evil Dead Rise, Dave Garbett. But yeah, okay. So let's go into the acting as well. So like, Jack Rayner's in it. He's acting. There's a detective character played by May Calamari. I think she's probably my favorite character that like in the movie, to be honest. And she's not even like, I'm not saying she's a great character. I'm just saying like she's probably my favorite character in the movie.
I think she's probably doing the best job. It's the problem is her character probably gets some of the weakest writing where it's just like, why is this here? Oh, why are we spending so much time with this?
The actress who plays Katie does a good job as well. To be fair, it's just
The other two kids, I'm sorry, they're kind of bad. They're kind of bad.
it was Natalie Grace playing Katie. It feels like an Evil Dead movie. I will say that. I know there's been people telling me like, oh, it's probably in the same universe, but like that's not in the movie, so why would I assume that? Yeah, if you have to tell me that afterwards, like that's just that's fan fiction.
I actually heard about this, and someone said this is actually an Evil Dead movie, and they got evidence to prove it. So you remember that professor guy? He's a really distant relative of someone from Evil Dead Rise. That was someone's reasoning. I'm not even kidding.
It's just basically fan fiction.
They're just like they're trying to justify this movie having nothing to do with the mummy.
Not worth the 133 minutes that it drags on for. I will say as well, the more I think about it, the less I like it. There's just so like I was on call with Jonathan after I saw the movie, and we were going through all the stupid shit that these characters do.
This is beyond like suspension of disbelief for me personally. I'm able to do this a lot with horror movies, just like justify stupid decisions. This is too far. These characters, like the very premise is just kind of broken. Like they're just inconceivably stupid.
Yeah, the fact that this doctor, like, this isn't a spoiler as well because it's obviously in the trailer and it's the whole premise of the movie. This doctor is like, oh, this child that has gone through this terrible shit is like was mummified and and put in a sarcophagus and is somehow still alive after 8 years. Their bones look like they're bending. Oh yeah, take them home. That's what they need. They need to be taken home. They don't need to be put in a fucking institution.
They need love. They need love.
They need love when you pull up and your daughter's looking like that old woman who needed chocolate from that episode of SpongeBob.
You love your daughter? Give her the fucking help she needs. Like
I don't even think it's that at that point. I think if you love your daughter, fucking put her down.
I think one of the funniest parts, and I don't know if this was on purpose. I don't think this was on purpose. There's like that extended like scene where they're like when wheelchair, and they bring her up in the wheelchair, all those steps, and then in like the next shot, it shows like Jack Rayner carrying her to the bed. Like, what? You couldn't just do that?
No, I was watching a review earlier that pointed this out, but at the doctor they said like no sudden movements with her. They're like wheeling her up the stairs, like boom. It's frustrating. It's like a little too frustrating for me. I can't look away from it. I'm usually able to move past this. I just can't with this one.
I don't think it's a spoiler to say this, but like, dude, the possession shit, like the weird shit happens like right away, like instantly. There's no like gradual buildup, which I thought maybe that was where it was gonna go. No, it hits the fan immediately, and I'm just like,
And what is their reaction? To do absolutely jack shit.
I'll say this slight spoiler because like this is like a really funny spoiler because it's like one of the first things she does as well. As soon as she gets home, she headbutts the grandma.
yeah, that's normal. That's normal.
And they're just like, oh, that's a little weird. Anyways, she's going through it. We're gonna help her get through it.
And then like in that same scene, she's like bending, like doing like in The Exorcist, where she's like bending her back, like she's like, oh yeah, this happens normally. Like that's just her, guys. She's a little, cuckoo, but we love her.
I originally gave Lee Cronin's Mummy a 6 out of 10, but like every time I think about it, it gets lower for me. Like I think it's still like I originally had it like a mid 6. I'm probably like leaning more towards a like lower end of 6. Like I could see this falling to a 5 quite easily. Faceless. What movie do you have?
So mine is a movie that really went under the radar this weekend because like not even 400 theaters were playing it. Mine did though. It's a movie I remember I saw the trailer. I heard about it and I was like, "Huh, what is this?" And I saw the trailer for it and I'm like, "Oh, this looks pretty good actually." That is Mile End Kicks. And it's the second movie in April 2026 to feature Barbie Ferreira in a cubicle. What this movie is about, it's this like 24-year-old in summer of 2011, she moves to Montreal from Toronto, and she goes there to write a book, but then she becomes involved with this band, this like really underground band, and she even becomes romantically involved, and some drama ensues. But I think what I really like about the movie is that it's very real in its depiction of just how messy it is and how like sometimes life is so overbearing, and it doesn't shy away from that, and I really appreciated that. And Barbie Ferrer is great. Second great performance in which she is seen in a cubicle in April 2026. She really just makes you feel for her, even though she's making sometimes these decisions that you're just like, girl, come on. But in a way, you're just like, I get it. I get it. And sometimes you feel bad for her, and you feel like you're like kind of frustrated with her, like simultaneously. It's very entertaining. At first, I was kind of unsure of like, am I gonna jive with this? Am I not gonna jive with this? But like, as a whole, I really did like it a lot. And special shout out, I didn't realize this was him in the movie, but Stanley Simons is plays a major character in this movie now. Stanley Simons, for anyone who doesn't know that name, which I assume most people don't, he played Mike Von Erich in the Iron Claw, and I really appreciated seeing him again. and of course Devin Bostic. It's really good. Very much millennials are probably gonna get the most out of this, but I think there's a lot to chew on here for everyone.
Hope to watch it sometime. I didn't get it near me, so
I give that like a high 8. That was the best movie I saw this weekend. Better than Lee Cronin's The Mummy, if you can believe it or not. But
But let's move on to our predictions for next weekend. So at number one, I've got Michael for 82.5 million. At number two, I have the Super Mario Galaxy movie at 18.3 million, which is down about 50%. At number three, I have Project Hail Mary at 13.3 million, down 35%. Number four, I have Lee Cronin's The Mummy, down 60% at 5.41 million. And then at number five, I've got the drama at 2.9 million, down 40%. Yeah, Michael's going to be very big this weekend. So what do you have, Faceless, for your top five?
well, I'm gonna go a little out there for Michael a little bit. Not too much, but just a little bit, a little higher than what you said. I have Michael at 92.2 million. I have Super Mario Galaxy at 20.8 million. We got Project Hail Mary at 14.4 million. Lee Cronin's The Mummy at 5.32 million, and the drama at 3.01.
And Jonathan, what about you?
So at number one, I have Michael with around 86 million. We'll see how the pre-sales go right now, but yeah, I'm feeling that. Mario 19, I'd say. A little less than half drop. We'll see. I could see it going over as well with Michael coming out. Project Hail Mary, I think I had the strongest hold of us. I put it at 15. I've learned to just not be conservative with this movie, just like go all the way with Project Hail Mary because its holds have just been phenomenal. Lee Cronin's The Mummy, I have it at a bit of a steeper drop than y'all. Still kind of in the same range, just 5 million, around that flat. And the drama, just literally about the same thing y'all have, 3 million. Just, it's holding well. They'll continue to hold well.
Yeah, I think we're in for a pretty good weekend next weekend.
Box office, per usual, very healthy.
For this year, it's been healthy so far.
It's been looking very definitely better than last year.
First quarter last year was rough when like the biggest movie was like Captain America was the only movie that made 100 million until Minecraft.
But yes, so that was this weekend at the box office, and our predictions for next weekend. Thank you, Jonathan and Faceless, for joining me.
Yes, sir.
Of course.
And thank you to everyone who listened to us ramble on.